Okay, so it's 9:16 a.m. and we are glad to have you on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. It's time for us to bring you the Polity, a program of newspaper headlines and analysis. My name is Franklin Lebekan and we are glad to welcome you to the program this Thursday morning, the 8th day of January 2026. And thank you once more for always being there, of course, being with us this morning at this point in time. So for us to talk about a development in the polity, especially as it concerns politics. Okay, so on the pages of paper this very morning, of course, we are going to see lots of stories that are trending. Some of them are getting more attention than the other. And in the area of politics, of course, Wike is still on his thank you tour of local government. And yesterday he was at Udala, local government area of River State, where he declared that in River State, they don't have any party in River State. Rather, what they have is only Renewed Hope family. And I must say that Wike has been doing all he can to show Mr. President that he has capacity and should be trusted with whatever the president wants to do with the people of River State come 2027. And some people are not finding it funny how he's been going about this thing. And this very morning I was thinking about it, and the question of whether what Wike is doing amounts to campaign, it arose in my mind, because it needs to be questioned whether what he's doing amounts to campaign. We know that the campaign has not been, ban campaign has not been lifted for 2027. But it seems like he's on campaign already in River State. Now, if you leave River State and then talk about the killings that have continued in Nigeria, almost on a daily basis, once you look at the papers, you're going to see one headline or the other talking about killings we have witnessed in this very country. Yesterday on this platform, we talked about killings in some other state. We mentioned Kwara in our analysis yesterday, and this very morning, if you look at the papers again, you see that bandits and herdsmen killed 9 farmers at National Park in Oyo State and also in Benue State. And this question of whether we are still prepared to face these very guys or not also is in the mix. And I'm be asking, are we now handicapped that we cannot do anything, but rather, resign to fate when it comes to the issue of insecurity in the country? Then, on the papers this very morning too, you're going to see the temporary forfeiture of 56 properties linked to a former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami. These properties are located in Abuja, Kebbi, Kano, and Kaduna State, and they are worth 213.234 billion naira. That same yesterday was the day he got a bail alongside his son and the wife to the tune of 1.5 billion. That same yesterday, the same court gave temporary forfeiture of these very properties, 56 of them, and the list is out there on the internet. You can check and see the list of these very properties located in different parts of Nigeria. And another report that got attention yesterday is the fact that certain Nigerian and Ghanaian words have been added to the Oxford Advanced Dictionary. That tells you that those our creations are getting attention at the international level. And maybe when you buy a new Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary, you begin to see such words in there. Take, for instance, Afrobeat has been added to the Oxford Advanced Dictionary, and some other words that, if time permit me, of course, I might be able to mention a couple of them that have been added. That tells you that we are part of those who have been building the lexicon, the English lexicon, for the world to see. And also this word too, amala, has been added. Amala, the one we eat, is been added, and so many others that have been added. Moi moi has been added. Mame market, even Igbo word biko has been added. Abeg has been added too. So these are our creations, and they are getting world attention. Then in the area of sports, something of actually has been at the front burner. People have been talking about it because if you check paper this morning, you will see that there are reports of Super Eagles and the team officials, threatening to boycott training and delay travel to Marrakesh for the quarterfinal match against Algeria on Saturday. The question has been: is it that once you have every tournament, you must have issues with unpaid bonuses? But as God may have it, we learned that later they trained yesterday, and this very morning they are prepared for them to head to Marrakesh for the game against Algeria come Saturday. And we have heard from National Sports Commission saying that the money is being processed, and by the time they are done processing that, they are going to get their pay. So these are some of the stories you are going to see on paper this very morning. There are others too that I haven't mentioned, but at this point in time, I have to bring in Tony Disambeki, the in-house analyst, for you to hear from him on opening remarks before we get to the paper this morning. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Franklin, Ebuka. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, the good people of Southeast. Good morning, India, Anambra. Good morning, Ndi Onitsha, Donidu. Good morning, Indosimo. Good morning, everyone under the reach of a voice. Wherever you are listening to us from this morning, you are blessed. And we extend the blessings of the God Almighty to every one of you. And this time around, we come spiritual. It's always good to be spiritually poised so that you can always see things beyond physical. You're welcome. We thank God Almighty for His mercy, for everything He has done for us. Because it is just His making that we are here today. And we are awake, we are alive, we are hale and healthy. Just because that's what He has destined. And we say, all glory, honor, and adoration be ascribed unto His name. And we are back in the sanctuary to profess the truth. As usual, we look at some of these developing stories. Quite a lot happening in the polity across the world of politics, sports. Do we talk about entertainment here? I don't think we do. It's reserved for other programs. We can do as much as we can. We cannot chew more than we can swallow. But we look at different developments, especially across the world. The defense budget for the United States of America, 1.5 trillion. And Trump saying why it should be so, that the tariff system has generated a lot of money for them to stand that amount, $1.5 trillion. When I saw that amount, I told myself, our own annual budget is usually $35 billion. And the country has $1.5 trillion for just a sector, defense. They want to build the most, not expansive, but the most strongest defense in the world, because they factor safety and other things. So it's quite a lot of things. When you were talking about works added to Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary, I actually got interested in those works. When you say abeg, biko, amala, stuff like that. So you can comfortably write them when you are writing your English, when you are constructing your sentence in English. And what that means is that it's no more like what you call...
Is it colloquial vernacular?
No, yeah. But even 419 is also there. When I saw that 419, Agbero is also there. The one they call Abi. There's a way Nigerians say that one. They will say, Abio, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Abi, he's also there, even area boy. Agberu, he's there. So, in fact, there is a particular word Nigerian politicians, they are fond of. You know what that? Cross carpet. You can also find it cross carpet there. So, there are so many of them. Even Japa, the one we... So, you said time will not permit you to list some of them, but I have to, add one or two so to make the conversation lively. So, there's so much to talk about this very morning, and you are all welcome.
Okay, so for us to brush other things too before we get to the headlines, Tony, have you been following the developments in the race for Nnewi North Mayor? Because everywhere you go on social media now, especially in the Anambra social media space, you will see that the issues regarding who is going to succeed the present mayor, whether he's going to go for second term or not, has been there. And it appears like Nnewi is being divided along two sides. Some people are saying we have it in our gentleman arrangement that anything called elected position, it must be rotational. But some people are claiming that this person who is there now has served for 2 years, and of course, he can be entitled to another 2 years to make it 4, just like it is in the case of governorship and some other elected positions in that very place. So I don't know if you've been following that and seeing the kind of conversations that have been arisen, that have been, rising from different places.
I think there is such an arrangement that I won't deny it, because from the look of things, if you are contesting for the State House of Assembly, especially if you are for Newe North State constituency, you are not thinking of going for another term. So it is rooted in their internal arrangement, and for them that is democracy. You go, the other side go. I think they have 4 towns or 4 villages. They have Otolo, they have Newichi, and then they also have Uruage and the Umudim. So if you look at it, it rotates among these 4 villages: Uruago, Umudim, Otolo, Newichi. So it has been like that. So it has been rotational. But one would say, if you look at Ifanyo for Anambra South, so that one is beyond the Newe, because it also has to do with the next or other local government, the other 6 local governments, as the case may be. But as far as the State House of Assembly is concerned, the mayorship is rotational, is their agreement. And for the present occupant, I know he has the support, overwhelming support of the people, because he has been doing well, he's humble. And this is somebody, even the elites, because one thing I have to say about the Newe people is that the elites, they get so much involved in leadership positions, leadership issues, even PG. That's Newe. So I understand that even when he brought the person he brought, they reminded him that the village the person comes from, they have had their turn. So it is the turn of another village. And he respected that. And that's why in fact, this person who currently occupies it comes as a result of such rotation. So he is a beneficiary of rotation. He's a product of rotation. So if you're a product of something, you must respect that thing which you're also a product of. If not for rotation, he wouldn't have been there. So why they all accepted him? In fact, when governor had wanted the person who was there before to continue, they reminded the governor, please, governor, we have this arrangement. Oh, governor said, if that be the case, give me somebody. Okay, that's what happened. So the person who was there before now, that was TC. They even counted TC. And the person was trying to transition from TC, transition committee chairman, to, they counted it for the person that they had attempted, forget the terminology. So now, I remember that time, Ibeto wanted to bring in somebody, they reminded him that their village had their turn. So now, the person who is there is also a product of such rotation. So why wouldn't he respect it?
Okay, so that's the question. Why wouldn't he respect that? Because already I have seen like 4 names, 4 persons who are interested in that very seat, who want to contest for that position within the circles of ABGA. I've seen the name of Colonel Osigwe. I've seen the name of my friend Ejike Ndobezu. I've seen the name of a Jim. I'm trying to remember his full name. And one other name that just keep my memory. About 4 names I have seen who are in that very position within the ABGA structure. Now, quickly too, let's talk about this issue of bonus or Super Eagles, because each time we have a tournament, we always have this reoccurring. And now we are at the AFCON in Morocco, and it appears like things are working well for the Eagles. But the issue of bonus has come again, trying to threaten the team's preparation for the quarterfinals, because we learned yesterday that the players and the team officials threatened to boycott the training yesterday, and also to delay their travel to Marrakesh this very morning because of unpaid bonuses. They said since they began playing this very tournament, from the match they won till the 4th match, they have not received their match bonuses as they were promised, and they won all the 4 matches. Of course, that there's allowance for winning and what have you not. But what baffles me is that the National Sports Commission has confirmed that by November last year, the budget they requested for this was approved by the president. And you're now wondering, why is it taking longer time for the money to be released and processed for this guy to get their money?
I think it's important that people understand these bonuses of a thing. we can talk about anything. Frank, there's nothing we cannot talk about. Even if you bring women matter here, we go talk them. So there are things Nigerians should be aware of as a result of this. So it's also disappointing and appalling that these bonuses have not been paid up to this period. And when we talk about these bonuses, Nigerians do not even know, or some Nigerians know, or some do not know. And then these bonuses we are talking about has been, in fact, every team, not just Super Eagle, every team that made the AFCON tournament, the one currently going on, they have such arrangements. So the question is, why would our own be different? You know what that means? Whenever yours is quite different from others, not on a positive note, but on a negative note, it's a mark of something. If they win any match, because that's the arrangement, Nigerians should know. Match win bonus, $10,000 per win. They have won how many now? They won
4 matches?
4 matches.
Yes.
I think they are the only team that has maintained 100% record. I think they are just 2.
I think Algeria too.
They are just 2.
Yeah. I think
but and in their own case, why they edge Algeria is because they have maintained such within 90 minutes. But Algeria have had a cause to go to extra time. So if you look at they are being owed about $40,000. That is $10,000 pay win. And you also look at, if you look at group stage, any goal scored, if the team, anytime they score any goal, $5,000 per goal. I don't know how many goals they have scored now. If you look at how many goals they've scored, I think they are one of the most scoring sides.
I think it's accountable.
So they are one of the most scoring sides. They have scored about about 8 or 9 goals.
8 or 9 goals. So
around 8 or 9 goals.
2-1, 1-0, 3-2, 4-0. Just go on.
So it means that if you calculate each goal they score, which is $5,000 per goal, and then that will be under group stage. So by the time they progress from round of 16, each goal scored is $10,000. At the group stage level, each goal scored is $5,000. Then from round of 16, the one they won against Mozambique, that 4 goals they scored is a total of $40,000. So that will tell you that then if they get the quarterfinal, if they win their quarterfinal match, from quarterfinal, $15,000. And then if they win their semifinal, $17,500. $17,500 per player. I'm talking about now quarterfinal. If they win Algeria this coming Saturday, right?
Yes.
Each player we take home $15,000. Each player, even those that did not play, as far as you are on the team list, $15,000. That's what you're gonna take home. And if they win their semi-final match, $17,500, exclusive of the goals and the goals scored, because goals have their own bonus. And then, so in all of this, they are saying that none of these bonuses, none has been paid. So it is very appalling. As we speak now, Nigeria has secured approximately $1.3 million for reaching the quarterfinal stage. From CAF, Nigeria as a country has secured approximately $1.3 million from CAF for reaching this quarterfinal phase. And if you look at these bonuses, they are in $17,000, $17,500, $500,000, $10,000, $5,000. If you equate these things, put them together, they are not up to $150,000. Put them together, put all these things aggregate them, they are not up to $150,000. But the country has secured $1.3 million from the effort of these players. There's trust issue. The players do not trust officials. When the officials do tell them that we are processing, what are you processing? Because they have information about other teams. They have information about other teams currently in the competition. They know very well that Algeria, Egypt, even Mali, Cameroon, these teams, they have got their bonuses sorted out. So why would our own be different? You keep processing it. And at the end of the day, nobody will tell us, even because if you get to the final, as you advance, the money increase. Nobody will even tell us, even the one we have secured, $1.3 million we've secured, nobody will tell us what it's used for. So if you see the massive support, can we do things the way others are doing them?
Okay, and just to couple of this very thing, because yesterday was 1 year in office of Eric Chell. He marked 1 year in office ever since he was appointed.
Yeah.
And guess what? People try to put out the statistics out there, and they're asking questions if he has fared well in his 1 year as a Super Eagles coach. 1 year in charge, he had played 16 games. He won 10, he drew 5, and he lost 1 in competitive games. And from all records, Super Eagles scored 34 goals under him and considered 16 goals under him. And they're asking, is he the man for the job?
He has proven what Nigerian coaches could not. I think the only time I faulted him was when we lost out to DR Congo through penalty shootout, and he was asked what happened. He said there was voodoo. Many of us
I can't forget that.
Many of us started laughing and said, where is this man coming from? What do you mean by voodoo? So remember, DR Congo has been knocked out by Algeria. So where was the voodoo? But we saw it as a way to distract the issue. But he did that in a way that was laughable. But aside that, Eric Shelley has proven from day one that he is a man for the job. Recall, he's just 48 years. 48 years. From Mali. That's where he's from. Though I know he has a Malian, French, and Ivorian ancestry, because I know his father is French and his mother is Malian, which also influenced his international football affiliation. Eric Seko Cheli. For me, he has done fantastically well. Honestly speaking, with such experience. If you look at the stats speak for themselves. Reps ipsa loquito. I remember when he was appointed in 2002, he led Mali to a strong performance at the 2023 AFCON Cup of Nations, topping their group and reaching the quarterfinal. He eliminated Ivory Coast in extra time. I think Ivory Coast eliminated them in extra time, in that game. I remember that game very well. From nowhere, he was a Malian coach in the last AFCON edition. He got to that level, even when no one was even thinking that Mali could get to quarterfinal, because we know Mali over time they have come up, they have been good in the past, and they're still good. But so if you look at his winning rate at that tournament and all that, 63 point something percent winning rate, where he had about 22 matches, he won about 14 or so, and they drew 5, and then he had 3 losses. That was the record he came with. But he has upped that record with the Super Eagles. So the man has done well, and I've seen his substitution. He makes tactical substitutions.
Okay, so let's see how he's going to progress, because now we have talked about his 1 year as Super Eagles manager, and of course by Saturday, let's see what he's going to put up against Algeria. Whether he's going to break that very jinx of Algeria, knocking us out each time we get to meet, or whether he's going to substitute. So at this point, we have to bring the headlines we have on various newspapers, 4 of them. And don't forget that we're always live on our Facebook page, Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Just get on the page, drop your comment, share the post, and like that very page. We're also live on our Instagram and YouTube channels, Udala Radio. Get interactive on those platforms. Let's get to deepen the conversation. Stay with us. Let's begin the paper headlines.
You're listening to the Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, so you are listening to the Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Let's look at the headlines this morning. On this day newspaper, we have this one that says U.S. seizes Russia flag tanker, a second Venezuela-linked ship. The story is on page 28. And this morning, too, you can see other reports where Trump is saying that with what is happening between them and Venezuela, that Venezuela is going to be buying products from U.S. That whatever they're going to send to Venezuela is going to be product from U.S., whether agricultural product or not. Then this one says U.S. demand visa bonds from Nigerians, nationals of 37 other countries. The writer says mandates entry, exit through designated airport. The story is on page 8. Of course, it's quite a challenging time for Nigerians. When talking about trying to restrict entry into U.S. and now somebody has to present visa bond of about, I think that should be $15,000 US. Quite interesting one. And COS tours terror ravaged Niger as bandit attack Old National Park in Oyo. The governor of Oyo State has reacted, saying that he will leave no stone unturned to ensure that the state is protected. And guess what? He was able to recognize the fact that what happened at the national park was a cross-border banditry. Perhaps the bandits came from other states, struck, and returned from where they came from. The other headlines you will see on the front page of this day: Wike Fubara is an ungrateful child, declares Rainbow Coalition will produce all elected positions. The story is on page 8. And this one says court orders interim forfeiture of 57 properties linked to Malami's son. The story is on page 25 of this day newspaper. You can see other headlines on this front page, but now we have to cross over to the Guardian newspaper to see what Guardian has for us this morning. On the front page of Guardian, this one says, why I remain in labor after Obi's exit by Dati. The story is on page 3. Of course, yesterday he declared his presidential ambition on the Labour Party. And I just wonder how they're going to do it. Because yesterday, INEC explained why he has not recognized that the Abure faction of Labour Party, saying the Supreme Court had declared his tenure ended. Then this one says Malami court grants interim forfeiture of 57 properties worth 213.2 billion naira. The story is on page 3. FG Nance disagree on abandoned students in Morocco. Check page 4. Then the big story says Supreme Court verdict 19 months after governors explore gaps in constitution, resists local government autonomy. That's the big story on page 6. Mieti Allah, Baron youths differ on latest plateau attacks. The story is on page 30. A fresh blow for Nigerians as U.S. begins $15,000 visa bound. Check page 2. Then this one says police bust child trafficking syndicate in Anambra, rescue 33 girls. The story is on page 4. 2027 ADC inaugurates mobilization, registration, revalidation committee. The story is on page 5. And guess what? Aisha Yosefu is in that very group. Likewise, Junusa Tanko, for them to mobilize for registration and get to revalidate the voter, the register for the party. Kaduna farmers seek FG's help over 10.16 billion naira 2025 loss. The story is on page 30. And if you read this very story, of course, it might be interesting. I know a couple of farmers who lamented that 2025 was a year of loss for them, especially those who are into rice farming. And they were saying that government policy on rice importation affected their business in a very disastrous way. So they did not know what the next farming season is going to be for them. And this one says new tax laws undermine tax system, democracy, NLC warns FG. The story is on page 6 of a Guardian newspaper. We cross over to the Punch, and the big story here says tax law 5 trillion naira VAT windfall for states as new formula begins. The story is on page 2, and it has a rider that says, new tax law tilts VAT revenue towards state. LG's as FG's share dropped to 922 billion naira. Beside the nameplate, court orders for feature of 57 properties linked to Malami Sons. The story is on page 20. US slams 15,000 US dollars visa bond on Nigerians. Others, check page 36. On page 7, why Abure LP faction is not recognized. INEC. How I caught Nigeria labor unions link with KGB, CIA, Obasanjo. The story is on page 19. And this one says Togo, Niger, Benin Republic owe Nigeria 25 billion naira for electricity. NEC is the one saying that. The story is on page 29. 25 billion in debt. Okay. Makinde fumes as bandits kill 5 Oyo forest guard. The story is on page 39. 2027, Obedience back Obi as Dirty Eyes LP ticket. The story is on page 38 of a Punch newspaper. And we move now to the last paper, which is the Vanguard newspaper. The big headline here says 2027 PDP faction to hold talks with Obi Atiku. The story is on page 5. It has riders. ADC taunts says win Atiku Obi to where? ADC taunts says win Atiku Obi to where? Adds it's ready to work with like minds to rescue Nigeria. ADC not PDP is way forward. Atiku's camp. PDP's in crisis. Can't woo Obi obedient movement. Okay. This one says bandits, herdsmen kill 9 farmers. National Park operatives in Oyo, Benue. Okay, it's on page 6. Then it has a rider that says police rescue 76 children from kidnappers in Kaduna. Arrest 3 suspects. Money laundering. Ex-AGF Malami son wife secure 1.5 billion naira bail. EFCC raises alarm over alleged campaigns of calumny against it. You can see the story on page 6. On the sports column, Super Eagles stew in unpaid bonuses. Crisis again. Okay, so we have to repeat this. Super Eagles stew in unpaid bonuses. Crisis again. Sean's training ahead of quarterfinals. The story is on page 32 of Vanguard. Above the nameplate, Nigeria record 12 trillion naira trade surplus. 21% non-oil export growth. FG is on page 19. Obi is surest bet for ADC Nwodo is on page 11. Heavy taxes, low wages, rising debt, threat to nation stability. NLC on page 8. 2027, Obi's ex-running mate, Baba Ahmed, declares presidential ambition. The story is on page 8. And that brings to an end the headlines we have this morning on various newspapers.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, so you're listening to The Polity on the radio 104.7 FM. So, Tony, quickly, let's talk about this very one. It says, Wodo says Obi is the surest bet for ADC. Is he the surest bet from the point of what has been developing and the target of the opposition?
It's just the opinion of the person, the other statement. You know, when you talk about Obi being the surest bet for ADC, he has to explain what he means by that. So, because so many of us are not into betting, and then he uses the word bet, so he has to explain, and so that we understand more, because we speak language of politics here, but then we can also speak the language of betting. But I'm just actually trying to digress. But it's a bit surest best for ADC. In what sense? In what way? In what manner? We know very well that ADC, we have our eyes locked as far as that party is concerned. And we are looking at how the primary would be like. I know many of them have said that they have all sworn to work for the interest of the party as against the individual interest or personal interest, that they will work for the interest of Nigerians, not in the interest of individualism. So when Uwodo says Obi is the surest bet for ADC, I think it means that Peter Obi is the most likely and most strategically viable candidate for the African Democratic Congress to adopt as his presidential flag bearer for the 2027 general election. And, that's what he meant by Obi being the surest bet. So we have to break it, and even when we are not in the betting world here. So, well, it's his own opinion. He's entitled to that.
But do you think he is amongst those who have declared their interest to vie for the ticket?
We looked at so many of them yesterday, and he should be one of those. If you ask me, but if you say he's the surest bet, in what sense? And I was asked that question yesterday. Can Obi command northern votes? Yes, he can command southern votes. Can he command northern votes? And I have said yesterday that the North believes in brotherhood. They believe so much in brotherhood. And they have this issue of trust. We are talking about taking power from Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And for you to do that, you must have a strong support base. So, if both of them go into the context, definitely the southern vote will be divided by Tinubu and Obi. You find out that what wins the game will be the northern votes. Yes, what will win the race will be the northern votes. So, who controls the northern? Assuming we have Obi and the Tinubu in that very enclave. When you say that, people may think that they are fed up with Tinubu because of the way he has disappointed them in the area of appointment, in the area of development, in the area of broken promises and so many things. If they are disappointed with Tinubu, do you think that they can also trust Obi? Don't you think that they may prefer that the devil you know is better than the angel? You don't know. Don't you think that that sense may come up? That thought may come up. So, I've said it many times that Obi and Tinubu, if both of them are on the ballot, they will divide southern votes. You find out that whoever has edge as far as northern votes, whoever has the edge as far as northern votes are concerned will take the day. So if Moro says EX, Obi is the surest bet, using the betting terminology, where it means that Obi is the most likely and most strategically viable candidate. Strategically viable in what sense? Is it strategically positioned? And I've explained it. For you to win Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it will be more like a referendum.
So if Obi becomes the candidate of the ADC, and there is a running mate from northern extraction, because I assume that that's what he's trying to explain, would that be a competitive ticket?
We've seen Obasanjo trying to push Kwankwaso to be the running mate. Kwankwasia movement, for me, does not go beyond Kano State, or it may have remnants in neighboring states like Kaduna, Katsina, and what have you. So, but basically, we must start looking at how you can win votes, because what makes you president is the number of votes you're able to win.
So if ADC though is going to win votes, what do you think is the most viable? Is it Obi Atiku ticket, Atiku Obi ticket, Obi Kwankwaso ticket?
Atiku will not contest, will not be running mate to anybody. Reason being that he's constitutionally bad. You can't be vice president for 8 years and come back to become a vice president. It's not possible. Many people who I've seen people putting up such permutation, Obi Atiku, Atiku Obi, in that way. And they forgot that Atiku cannot run for the office of vice president in his life again in Nigeria.
So the issue of Obi Atiku ticket is ruled out entirely.
Yes.
So what you now have now is Atiku Obi ticket and the Obi Kwankwaso ticket.
That's what we have. And if you ask me, the most viable one, if you put Obi Kwankwaso and Atiku Obi will fly more.
Okay, so we'll leave it at that point. Now, let's go over to a development in Anambra State, which the police talked about it yesterday. Police issued a statement to detail what happened. Because Anambra State Police Commander has busted a suspected child trafficking syndicate. And they were able to arrest one suspect and rescue the 33 underage girl from a compound in Okozo. Okozo is in the local government area in Anambra State. And that very compound is believed to have been used for illicit activities. According to the police, it was officers from the Rapid Response Squad in Okozo who followed up an investigation over cases of kidnapping, abduction, and missing children. They got information from relatives of 3 kidnapped children who were moved from somewhere in a Ebonyi state. And from what they gathered, somebody gave them information that those children who were kidnapped were sighted somewhere at Aguleri. The place was named as Ima Pigeon Road. So with that information, police now swooped on this and was able to arrest one suspect identified as a former successor Anthony. And from what they know already, there's a building that has been identified, which the owner has absconded because the owner is now on the run. And police said that that building is linked to trafficking and the prostitution. Now, Tony, where we are headed is, how did we make child theft and the child trafficking to become a business? Because that is what it is now. We know that in traditional Igbo society, like it's like an abomination, something that was abhorred, and the human life is seen as something very, very sacred. In fact, the issue of even having an orphanage wasn't a practice that people were well at home with. But now, orphanages are there. And somehow, people have turned this child thing into a business where they go steal someone's child and go somewhere and sell it. How do we get to this point?
We get to this point as a result of lack of diligence, as a result of laid back attitude when it comes to regulation, supervision, monitoring, and what have you. That's how we got to where we are. It has become business for so many people. Human trafficking, child trafficking, sexual trafficking. That is what we are talking about in this present moment, in this present period. And the truth remains that these people find Anambra State as a place where it is more advantageous because of the high population density. I must let you know that just last year, maybe I won't go beyond last year, in Anambra State, we've witnessed concomitant approaches by security officials to go after these people, of which they have done that, but that has not also stemmed the tide. Sometimes around February 2025, there was this child trafficking syndicate that was busted, because I remember that about 10 children, we are rescued. The police operatives attached to, remember, Territory Divisional Headquarters, they carried out such an intelligence-led operation where 3 suspects, including a fake medical doctor, and even the rescue of about 10 malnourished children aged from 5 to 8 from a trafficking network. This happened sometime around February 15 or thereabout 2025, this past year. So we saw what happened in Inewi. We had 11 children we were rescued in a joint operation. So Uruagunewi was the same. In fact, the detectives, the police, they uncovered an interstate child trafficking syndicate because, from Adamawa to Anambra State. In fact, Adamawa State Police Commander was also involved. 11 children aged from about 3 to 6 were rescued after being stolen from Adamawa and offered for illegal adoption. You can imagine people stealing children from Adamawa State. In fact, the prime suspect in that case was a 43-year-old woman who was arrested. This happened around July last year. So are you going to talk about the one that happened sometime around October last year, where a newborn was rescued from trafficking scheme? And this one happened somewhere in Oyi? Okozo, precisely.
Tony, you mentioned the interstate aspect of it because, I'm going to speak Igbo. Igbo have this very connection about Obala. Sometimes when you talk with people, somebody, I say Obalonye, to the point that they care about consanguinity. Obala. But this time around, I see people, because people who are now into this very business, majority of them are women. Somebody goes as far as Adamawa State, steal children, then come down to Anambra State and non-sell. Please mind my language now. Those babies stolen or those children stolen in Adamawa might be of another tribe blood, right? And the person come down to the southeast Anambra State and sells to an Igbo person who doesn't care about that consanguinity.
Who doesn't even know that the child was stolen from Adamawa? Because they bring it here in Anambra State as if these children were born in Anambra State. As if these children were born by Igbo parents. Most of these people who are coming for adoption, whatever you tell them is what they take. They don't know any history. They don't know any record around the child they want to adopt. Now, we are now letting them know that most times some of these children who've come to these orphanages, we are stolen from different tribes.
But guess what? Some of these persons who go to adopt babies don't even go to orphanages. They do all these illegal arrangements. I have baby for you, and then they do their business. And I'll give you an instance. I think I had mentioned this before of one incident that I covered in Oba, where a child was stolen. The child was with her sister in the church. They were just playing, and one woman just came and said, "Oh, come. I like your brother. Take this very money. Go and buy biscuits for him." And the young girl left the baby boy in the hands of the woman. By the time she returned, the woman was gone. Or just years after, somebody working with Ocha Brigade from that Oba saw that very child in Oka. And he went on the trail and was able to find out where the baby went in. That was how the recovery was made.
Most times, people, just like you pointed out earlier on, most people or the gender involved heavily in this, they are women. But we are not also saying that men are not involved. But we've seen them on the spotlight. It's very disturbing. And it says most times these things are done in form of a networking business. They have networks. They have field soldiers. It has its own value chain. And they have those who are rooted in some of these states who pilot these schemes. The off-takers, the conveyors, the receivers, and where these children are maybe kept afterwards. And they have agents who also look for buyers in their own means, in their own ways. Just like I said, it's a form of network. And I'm just curious because if you look at, we are talking about what happened in Oyi right now, and then if you look at around October last year, there was such an incident. But in the case of last year, it was a 1-week-old baby who was rescued. So I remember even sometime around September, there was also a case, 3-year-old boy rescued in Mpo. So you go back, we are talking about Okuzuna. That is, you local government. In this case, 33 underage girls, 33 of them. If you look at the age from 15 to 17 years. And if you look at these people now that were rescued, about 33 of them, they are sexually exploited.
So what happened to our humanity? What happened to our Igbo-ness? What happened to our tradition? What happened to our conventions, ordinances, and what happened to our conscientiousness? Because all these questions are just born out of the fact that we used to be certain kind of people, and now everything has changed. We have to go for this very commercial break.
104.7 Udala Radio.
Vacancy. Attention job seekers. This is your opportunity. Wigan Hotel and Suites is recruiting qualified and hardworking individuals to join our professional hospitality team. Available positions include barmen, waitresses, receptionists, chefs, housekeepers, cleaners, supervisors, and laundry staff. Requirements are minimum of O-level qualification and above. Interview venue, Wigan Hotel and Suites, Uju Ekwerono Street, Tobis Oyoleze, 33 Nkwelezu Nanka. Interview date, Friday, 9th of January 2026. Time, 12 noon prompt. For more inquiries, call or WhatsApp the Managing Director on 0802-320-4572 or 0803-836-8907. Wigan Hotel and Suites. Your comfort is our priority.
Nepa don't take light again. Wetin I fit do? Every day fuel don cost. How person wan take survive? I go cook soup today, tomorrow e go sour.
My people, why you dey stress when the sun dey your head for free? Switch to the affordable solar energy wey Wascana Solar Company dey give small businesses and homes across Naija, whether na barbing salon o, restaurant o, supermarket o, or your 2 or 3 bedroom apartment. Wascana Solar get correct durable solar wey go serve you wella. No more NEPA wahala, no more expensive fuel. Let the sun power your business and home for free. And no forget o, solar fans, solar lights, everything dey available. Call Wascana Solar now for 0806-374-2374. I repeat am, 0806-374-2374 or send email to wascanasolar@gmail.com. Visit their office near Olive Relief after Marble Hill School Junction, Okpanam Road, Asaba, or Classic Line Zone 2, A4 Electrical Dealers International Market, Obosi. Wascana Solar, Okumube.
As the year draws to a close, we pause not just as a radio station, but as a grateful partner to say thank you. Thank you for believing in our voice. Thank you for trusting our platform. And thank you for choosing to grow with us throughout this year. From the beginning of this year to its final days, your support kept our microphones on, our programs impactful, and our community connected. Your patronage was more than business. It was confidence. It was partnership. At this moment, we sincerely appreciate Winners Global Estate, Celebrity Landlady, and Anti-Drug Organization. We say thank you to Wendy's Bread, Baboyo Herbal, Olojugu Microfinance Bank, and Their Real Homes. Our gratitude also goes to Crystal Garden Estate, Fazona Real Estate, Best Aluminium, Microfinance Bank, and Choose Star and Correct Star Wire. We acknowledge the support of Astridge Assets, Wascana Solar, the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company, EEDC, Higher Ground Real Estate, Zenapex, and Christ Embassy. We also appreciate the Onitsha North Local Government and the Anambra State Government for their trust and collaboration. As we step into a new year, we do so with renewed commitment, fresh energy, and a promise to serve you even better. Thank you for an amazing year. We look forward to greater partnerships, greater impact, and greater success together in the year ahead. Because together, we are Udala. 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Udala Radio, 104.7 FM. You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, so thank you for staying tuned to the Radio 104.7 FM. It's 11 minutes past 10 a.m. and you're listening to the Polity. My name is Franklin Ebik and I'm with Dr. Tony Zambeki. We are looking at the topical headlines from what we have read out to you. Before that very break, we're talking about this thriving child theft and the trafficking system where 33 young girls were rescued in Anambra State. So, Tony, for us to wrap up this very conversation, do you think, okay, let's go this way. Is there a relationship between the strenuous way of adopting a child legally and this thriving child trafficking menace? Because we know that government has a system whereby if you want to adopt a child, you go through the legal procedure, documentation, what have you. If it's a long process. But we have seen that people do bypass this very method and try to use the crude way of adopting a child. So do you think that there is a relationship between this strenuous method of adopting a child legally and then the thriving business of child trafficking?
For me, I think the one of these illegal thing of a thing, I think these are handiworks of agent provocateurs. We know what we have allowed these things to envelop us, and we have dangerously strayed far from who we are as a people. A people once defined by honor, sacred kinship, deep reverence for life, now look on as the unthinkable becomes routine. I remember those days in our villages, in our communities, once we suspect something of this nature, the village will shout abomination, arrow, more like trying to defame our very esteemed ordinance. In fact, our identity, painstakingly preserved through centuries of struggle, wisdom, and communal discipline, is bleeding. The ordinances that guided our morals, restrained excesses, and protected the innocent have been abandoned, replaced by silence and indifference. When these things happen, it's none of my business. It does not concern me. That's just the language everybody's speaking. Mostly everyone. That's the language. In fact, consanguinity, one sacred among us, meant that every child was protected by the entire community. Every life inviolable. Every stranger accountable. What is going on? Are we speaking to ourselves? Are we talking to ourselves? Are we really mindful of these developments? A society that tolerates child trafficking and sexual exploitation has not only lost its moral compass, it has declared war on its own future. Take it or leave it. We'll stop here, but because you know what? If not for security operatives, we may not even notice, because these people operate in communities, they operate in villages, as if that these people are not aware. Most times it takes a long time before they are busted. They don't operate in vacuum. You cannot tell me that we don't know real orphanages home and all that. And we are calling on government, because government must step up its own work. As we are calling on the villagers, communities, villages as well. The government must step up its own work.
And they have also they also have to look into the operations of orphanages in this very state, because some of them are there on the surface as orphanages where people can go and legally adopt children, whereas what they do in the dark is despicable. So government has to do that diligence in that area. Let's see if we can separate the chaff from the corn.
And then it's very easy to do. What happens to digitalization of some of these operations? There's no agency that work for the public, for the interest of the public, that will not be captured by government, monitored by government, and routine check. And we understand that even there are those who run bad businesses. There was an incident in Oba. Remember that incident? But people came out and said they don't want this. We saw the video. It went viral. They told the very woman and the husband somewhere around where these haulage vehicles, trucks do park, there was a bar there. And these drivers, they use these underage girls for relaxation. If they're coming from Gombe or Jigawa or wherever they're coming from. So that spot, that area in Oba was known for that. The community said, no, we will not allow this. And because it's bringing bad image, bad omen for the community. On the edge, we saw how many of them. In fact, when the PG or the community leaders raided that very place, we look at these girls. Many of them from Imo State, from Anambra State, from Enugu State, from Ebonyi, from different states. They're all there. Even from neighboring towns, they're all there. So that was the work of the community. But we are saying the government does not need for a community to do this without even coming up to work where it's expected to work. So the point I'm trying to make here is this. There are bars we have around us. These things are going on. And people should start talking, point to those areas. We should not allow this to continue.
Okay, so let's now go over to politics because yesterday, Labour Party's vice presidential candidate in 2023 general elections, Senator Dati Baba Ahmed, he formally declared his interest in contesting the presidency in 2027 amid the ongoing realignment within Nigeria's opposition space. Baba Ahmed, of course, we know he was running mate to P2B in 2023, and he made that declaration at a rally held at the party's national secretariat in Abuja. And this is coming barely 1 week after he announced his departure from Labour Party for African Democratic Congress. And guess what? He addressed the party members and supporters, and he said that his aspiration was neither reactionary nor dependent on obese political decisions. And according to him, his presidential ambition predates the 2023 election. So, Tony, the moment that Ahmed began to align or realign with Abure-led faction of Labour Party, that was when people began to suspect that something could be in the offing. And now he has openly declared that he's going to run for the presidency in 2027. Some person said it's a joke, taken too far, but of course he has his right to contest for the presidency. But how are you looking at it? Do you see a point of betrayal in what happened? And how do you look at this ambition, knowing the fact that Labour Party's leadership crisis has not been resolved, and he's aligned with one party, with one faction?
Yes, Baba Dati Ahmed. I don't want to call him Sleepy Dati Baba Ahmed. You know how Trump will always refer to Joe Biden as Sleepy Joe. I had once wanted to refer Dati Baba Ahmed as Sleepy Baba Ahmed. Not because he sleeps on duty, but he wears a close countenance with that of Joe Biden. So whenever Trump calls Joe Biden Sleepy Biden, you know, stuff like that. But let's not go into that. But I think the point I'm trying to make is the fact that Dati Ahmed, we knew very well that he has a presidential ambition. And then when Peter asked him to join him in that race, and we asked, can he pull sizable vote as a running mate? Is he that running mate that is just there to make up the number? I think he has shown that he was a running mate that made up the number, not because of anything. I thought that P2B would have won Kaduna State, where he's from. Did Labour win Kaduna State? Labour did not win Kaduna State. In fact, I think Kaduna State was, I think Atiku won Kaduna State, but even the vice presidential candidate was there. I don't know if he won his ward in Zaria. So Yusuf Dati Baba Ahmed, I know very well, many of you may not have known him. I knew him for so long because I know even when he served as a senator representing Kaduna North Senatorial District. Remember, he was elected senator in 2011 under the Congress for Progressive Change, that party that Muhammadu Buhari put for. In fact, he wrote at the back of President Muhammadu Buhari to be elected senator. But his tenure was short-lived as it was nullified by a court judgment which led to his removal from the Senate before he could complete such time. So even before becoming a senator, He had also served as a member of the House of Representatives, representing Zaria Federal Constituency. He did that. That was in 2003 to 2007. So, Dati Baba Ahmed has been in politics for a very long time, there's no doubt. But I recall very well that he's the founder and pro-chancellor of Base University in Abuja, the same university that you run to, you become a lawyer. And we saw how many politicians, how they became lawyer or law students. How they became lawyer after graduating from that very school. Ifeanyi did the same. Even our brother here, Chidoka, did the same. And we saw them in class. He is the proprietor, the founder, the pro-chancellor of Base University, a private institution established sometime around April 2011. Dati Baba Ahmed. He has not shown this ambition to be the president, but Dati, yes, aside your representation at the Federal House, then you rode at the back of President Muhammadu Buhari to be elected senator, which short-lived. The way and manner you team up with Abure, and INEC released a statement saying that a Supreme Court maintained that Abure's tenure had expired. Dati Baba Ahmed does not want to hear that. What he wanted is somebody who could give him the ticket. They offered the ticket to P2B at the platter of gold, but Peter was dilly-dallying, he was indecisive, and a lot of things happened. And Dati said, you know what? Why don't you offer me the ticket? I'm going to support you, Abure. And that he did. Dati Baba Ahmed. In fact, there are those Nigerians who believe that, after all, he is from Arab world, you know. So I think his father had Mauritanian ancestry. Yeah. His father had Mauritania. In fact, that's just where he's from, Mauritania. And then the part of Mauritania he's from, the Arab part of Mauritania. So he's an Arab man, no doubt. But he's a Nigerian. I'm not forgetting the fact that he's a Nigerian, because even if the father is reported to have been an Arab cattle trader from modern day Mauritania, who retired.
So this sheep, how is he going to sell? Where is he headed? Given the fact that just yesterday, INEC came out to explain why he did not recognize any list that came from Abure faction of Labour Party for FCT area council elections, saying that Supreme Court had ruled that the tenure of Abure had expired. So what that simply means is that before INEC, the faction of Abure of Labour Party is not recognized and might not be recognized too unless court says otherwise in the nearest future.
And the court cannot say otherwise, because court has no jurisdiction over the issue of leadership. The only thing Supreme Court maintained was the fact that Abure tenure had expired. But my concern was, even if INEC admitted this, why did it take INEC long to vent this out?
Exactly.
That is one. And secondly, if INEC knew that Abure's tenure had expired, why didn't the same INEC recognize the Nadi Usman caretaker committee? So it's a problem.
So what is playing out now? Is INEC playing a script?
That's what it appears. For you to hold a particular truth for a long time, waiting for when it makes no meaning or when the life in that truth seems to have been extinguished, and you release the truth, it makes no sense. But that's by the way. And Baba Ahmed, he's not seeing all these things. If you look at it, INEC in their release made a mention that they had filed suits in different courts. In fact, the one they filed in one of the courts, the court ruled it out because it prayed the court to compel INEC to recognize candidates under Abure. And the court said no and reinforced Supreme Court ruling that their tenure had expired. So they went and filed another one in Nassau, somewhere in Akwanga, and they filed another one in Ese. So they were filing suits everywhere. The idea is to compel the court to recognize Abure. And most times, INEC will always present Supreme Court CTC to the court that your tenure had expired. But I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty of that very...
So with this development now, what do you expect the Nadi Osman or the Nadi Osman-led faction of Labour Party to do now that INEC has made a reference to Supreme Court judgment which the faction hinged their operations on?
Ordinarily, Nenad Usman would have also used the opportunity to petition INEC. So you know this. So what happens to the candidate we fielded? And when you know that issue of nomination is not within the jurisdiction of any court, issue of leadership, even nomination, membership, is not within the jurisdiction of any court. But the Supreme Court made mention in their judgment that this man's tenure had expired. They are not trying to put anybody, but a party comes out to tell you there are two persons contesting for a particular position. Supreme Court openly said that once the other side, your tenure had expired, had long elapsed. The other side said we are forming caretaker to conduct. So you must recognize one.
So some persons think that the reason INEC came out this time around to be categorical that the tenure of Abure had expired based on Supreme Court judgment was the fact that P2B had left the party.
That is just that.
That he was a target.
That's what Nigerians are saying.
Do you agree with that?
And it appears to be true. It appears. Because for me to say it is, I have to have a backup evidence. But I'm saying it appears. By me looking at the things the way they happen, it appears. So I don't have evidence to say it is or it is not. But it appears. But the point is, INEC, in fact, they have not helped matters in some of these electoral issues. They have not helped. They have been culpable in many ways. But Jati Baba Ahmed, you've shown the stuff you're made up of. In fact, it's good that things are shaping up, people are coming out. And before now, P2B may have thought that he has got Jati Baba Ahmed on his back. And you recall, I don't know, when those who were actually speaking for President Tinubu were fighting Jati Baba Ahmed, they called him all sorts of names. But the man has declared his presidential ambition. He's entitled to do so. He's a Nigerian, even if his father was from Mauritania. He's a Nigerian, so he's entitled to. So he has launched his.
So do you see any sense of betrayal in that?
He did not betray P2B.
Okay.
You know why I say so is because while they were together, he was loyal. But both of them, the moment they were together, so it is not written everywhere that wherever P2B goes, he goes. Nah.
No, from the point of P2B and co contesting the claim of leadership by Abure, because Obi and the likes of Alex Oti of Abia State, they stayed away from Abure.
Yeah, of course. That is where the betrayal
was going back to Abure.
That's where he sense betrayal, not because he's running for president. His declaration of his interest to run for president is not betrayal, but sticking to Abure for me was a betrayal.
Okay, so we have to rate this very one. Then we'll go for this very commercial break. Once we return, we'll talk about it a bit, and then we open the phone line. It's about former AGF Abubakar Malami. Yesterday, court granted him bail in the sum of 1.5 billion. It wasn't he alone. His son and his wife, they were granted bail, but the court said they are going to remain in custody until they perfect their bail conditions. I'm not going to go and list the bail conditions, but what stood out yesterday was the fact that same court gave an interim forfeiture order for 57 properties linked to him, and these properties are worth more than 200 billion, scattered across 4 different states of the federation. And when I saw the list of the properties, it was massive. Tony, a former AGF, and almost on a daily basis, he releases a statement on his Facebook page saying that he's been haunted. Though as it stands now, he has not been convicted. Somebody can say he's still innocent. But given the fact that we have seen this deluge of allegations hanging on his neck, the question becomes, why this penchant that people we have had in public offices? There is always trace of people trying to use public office to enrich themselves. Why is it this very way?
The weak institution we have. That's the reason why it is what it is. And people who are moving in, they have one thing in their mind: to steal, to loot, to pilfer, to liquidate. That's what they have in mind. So we will keep having that, and we will not cease to have that until we strengthen our institutions, until our institutions become above individuals, personalities. Because we have personalities, we have individuals who are above our institutions, who can make and unmake. So it is what it is. We saw the properties. In fact, I started reading at a point I got tired. Which one would you read? Which one are you going to leave? So this is just what one man did in 8 years. In 8 years, that's what he did. And he did it so stupidly. So stupidly. And he keeps acquiring This thing is insatiable. The quest, the push, the penchant, the drive. He cannot resist it. He tries to cover it, to launder it. He used process, he used companies. Now, there was this auto firm he was alleged to have used. And it's all about weak institutions. All the loot coming from Abacha. Did anybody tell us if we had converted Abacha loot and we decide as a country, if National Assembly says, come up with a legislation, any kobo from Abacha loot must be directed to solve our energy crisis, electricity. We have National Assembly members who are there for them. They don't make laws. How can we be having a loot being recovered from a past set of state? There is no legislation, no law on how and the way and manner it to be used. People don't understand that legislation gives direction, makes it enforceable. They don't see it that way. The National Assembly members, I don't know what they see as legislation. They see legislation as to reform, amend, to bring up a new law to establish. See,
to establish schools.
I don't know. There is no single legislation on Abacha recovered loot. That's why somebody like AGF can go on and sit on it without anybody, no checks, no balance, and he use it the way he wants. That is what. Even EFCC loot, there is no legislation. I'm not talking about policy. No legislation on recovered EFCC. All the loot recovered from EFCC. How and manner. See, what are the members of National Assembly they are doing? Do they think beyond their horizon? I don't know. I know very well they go for training. They do all of. I don't see. That is why the country is at crossroad. The executive, they are doing whatever they want to do. These people don't know that with legislation you can engender good economy. You can engender a lot of things. Redirect government policies. They don't see those things. And very soon they will distribute rice. They will distribute keke napep. They will distribute sewing machine and all that. I ask people, they go there blindly. They don't know. Most of them don't know what they're doing. Take it from me.
Okay. The man is actually, singing on daily basis, because almost on daily basis, if you go to his page, you will see a president saying that he's being persecuted, and people are asking him, why are you alleging that you are being persecuted? Whereas when you were on the saddle, you almost did the same thing to other persons who were accused of one corruption or the other. Because yesterday he was alleging that DSS was trying to rearrest him after he had been granted bail. In fact, he even posted a video showing DSS people where they had taken positions, waiting for him to come out from the court so that he would be arrested. And if people have sympathy for him, it's a different thing.
Let's be honest. He looks at Yahya Bello walking freely. Possibly there were things they did together. 80 billion alleged fraud by Yahya Bello. EFCC came out and said that Yahya Bello is innocent until proven guilty. EFCC can as well say Abubakar Malami is innocent until proven guilty. He said the moment he went for a political rally of ADC in his home state, Kebbi State, they revoked the administrative bail given to him and arrested him. Before now, he was on administrative bail. The moment he attended that very political rally, they revoked the administrative bail, arrested him, and then hurriedly arraigned him. So he is in a political undertone in his own battle. But if you look at it, look at Yahya Bello case. Today he's a member. See, we are not serious in this country.
So what goes around comes around.
That is what it is.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Quality bread. Wendy's bread. For your family breakfast. Wendy's bread. How about you turn it to yellow? Wendy's bread. Mama, papa, they like Wendy's bread. You turn it and do. Wendy's bread. Even children, they like Wendy's bread. Wendy's bread. And in town. Wendy's bread. You get it better, tasty, we go sweet your belly. Wendy's bread. Wendy's your but you choma. Wendy's bread. Wendy's
Wendy's bread, tasty bread. You can contact us on our official address, Second Business Park, Enugu Road, GRA, beside CPS, Onitsha, Anambra State. We also have another branch at St. Michael Plaza, Atani Road. Also contact us on 070-1149-1571. Wendy's bread, your tasty bread. Wendy's bread.
Public notice. The governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, CFR, has set up an ESCO committee for the recovery of all government land at Otumoye Creek, Onitsha, in Onitsha South local government area of Anambra State. All persons purportedly laying claim to all those parcels or plots of land located at Otumoye Creek, Onitsha, are by this notice requested to submit the following documents to the Office of the Commissioner for Lands. 1. Allocation letter. 2. Certificate of occupancy. 3. Building plan approval. And 4. Any other relevant documents conferring ownership of such plots of land to the individual. All documents are to be submitted in 2 sets within 14 working days from the date this notice was first published. No submission will be received or attended to after the expiration of the said 14 working days. Signed, Mrs. Nkiru Mokwe, Esquire, Permanent Secretary for Commissioner for Lands.
From the commercial city of Onitsha comes Udala Radio 104.7 FM, the voice of the region, where authentic news and entertainment meet. Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, so you are listening to The Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM, and this is The Polity. My name is Franklin Lebekanda. I'm with Tony Olisambeki. It's time for us to open the phone lines for you to join this very conversation. 0803 221 6973 or 0803 827 6694. Please, when you call in, just be direct, go straight to the point so that we'll be able to accommodate more persons. Good morning.
Good morning, my chief speaker, Tony Olisambeki.
Yes, good morning. Your name?
Good morning, Franklin.
You're welcome.
The voice of Honorable Idens Mayor Okuchukwu Mejepi Okulora Ochendo Lumo Zeneka Uda Note. Can I go on?
Yes, go on. You have 1 minute.
Yes, thank you very much. Tony, I like the last statement you made before you people goes to advertise. You said that both Marami and other people that we arrested, we are just that the way the government is going about them, that we are not serious. Now, I want to ask you a question. Since we have seen that things are going that way, not only in Marami issue and both in many ways, what is the way forward? Or can we sit down to fold our arms and leave the Nigerian state at this stage like this? This is my question number 1. Number 2, I want to make it categorically clear once again the way P2B, Atiku, and their colleagues are going about 2027. I am foreseeing failure on it. Let me say it again. The best way to go in order to defeat Tinubu is for them to march. Either this one becoming vice of this or this one becoming vice of this. If they vie alone, even if Atiku vie this election alone, I am preempting that he is not winning Tinubu. By the way, Tinubu is going. If people decide to vie alone, I'm telling you, he is not winning this election. So, if they want to unseat the present governance, then they find a way to have synergy and to go this election, imagine themselves. Let me just stop so that others will come in. Thank you and God bless you. You people are doing a great work.
Thank you, the mayor. Thank you for joining. I appreciate your input. Don't forget we are live on our Facebook page, Udala Radio 104.7 FM. you can get on that platform and also become interactive. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, good morning. Your name?
Yes, good morning. This is Uche. I'm calling from Ela.
Uche from Ela. Go on.
Yeah. You see the issue of the Super Eagles. I don't know what is wrong with our Federation Football. The banks know Atombo Omanogwe, Atuabo Omanogwe, Beta of Karobako. I don't know if you understand that.
Yes, I got that.
This has been happening. Even during the last World Cup they went to, this was still the issue. The issue of Gnatro did well in the Super Eagles team. This was the issue why the team was fumbling during the Gnatro regime. And the man working for you was owing him for about 6 months. How would you want him to perform? The bank is in Aleji Etekararo away with the month. Somebody that's working for you must eat. And how would I eat? From the pay you are paying. So our country, our every service country is not working well. A team that won the first game, won the second game, won the third, and won the fourth game. They have scored 10 goals. 10 goals in all the competitions. And none of these allowances have been paid. It's shameful.
All right.
And look at the money we have been mentioned peacefully, being looted, billions of dollars, billions of naira. And look at the money FIFA has to pay the team more than $1 million. What are we saying? Who is fooling who?
Okay.
Who is really fooling in this country?
Thank
they
you.
They are playing with our joy. They are playing with our unity. They are playing with our happiness. Those things, this thing are giving us happiness. They are giving us joy. And they are trying to take it away from us. But the only thing that we are having to be happy because the country is where it's going. Well, let me just go so far.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Before we take the next call, let me just bring you this very breaking news that in River State now, the River State House of Assembly has begun impeachment process against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy. In fact, the whole thing came to forward this very morning during plenary, and they said they are going to serve the impeachment notice on him as a mark of official commencement of the impeachment process. Yesterday, weekend was at a holder where he was saying that boy was ungrateful. And today, a new development. We shall talk about that more. Hello, good morning. Okay, I tried the phone lines at 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-6694. Good morning.
Good morning, Franklin.
Thank you for joining.
Dr. Tunusa speaking. Very good morning to you.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Yes, sir. Please, your comment on the delay in payment of the bonuses. Yes, I feel it's just as you have just said, because I don't want a Nigerian situation on that, because most of our players are international. They are so exposed and they have seen money. So I don't want Nigerian situation on that, because here, in almost everything, except if it concerns them, that bureaucratic bottleneck is always there. Even when you work for the government, from the local government, for the state or federal, the delay in payment that always item that bureaucratic bottleneck by releasing the money for you. When you until you are staffed to death before payment, see the workers that have retired now, before they receive their distance, most of them will have passed on. And that is what they are always trying to do. You see, when the promises are broken promises there, it is totally unacceptable. And for the news that you have just read, let those people, the rivers, they are just, I don't know what they are trying to make that list to be. Because even when they want to dance to the tune of a particular person, we have to regard to the masses, the people of River State. I think it just playing a very bad politics in here. If one man can hold everybody to ransom, and it is still going on, and we see people who are just clapping for them. and the people that particular one that are concerned, that are showing muscle, and they keep on doing that. I don't know what they're teaching the level one.
Okay.
They like to go into politics. Whether Nigerian politics is so bad, and most of the people are scared. Like somebody like me, I can't go into such a business if it is a battle for life or to finish. I don't like such a thing. So let them continue doing what they're doing. The drama is still there. We are waiting. Let me stop here. Good morning.
Okay. Thank you for calling. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, your name?
This is voice of Honorable Ignatius Okoye from our Kingdom.
Okay, go on.
Good morning, my speaker.
You're welcome.
This flash now that I had surprised me. But I want to ask a question to our speaker. The speaker. Can the River State has assembled only a piece, but without the approval, without the chief judge of the River State, because I know that the chief judge of the River State will have, after the previous service notice and others, chief judge must come in to give number, to give appoint people that will examine the offense of the governor. What was the offense of the governor for the previous notice? Let us watch and see. Tinubu, I don't know whether I will intervene here. APC, I don't know whether I will intervene here. Let us watch and see. But what my question is, can only they single-handedly impeach the governor without the support of the chief judge and seven-man panel and all that? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm done.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ignatius. Let's see who we have next. Don't forget the phone lines are there for you to join. Good morning.
Good morning.
Your name?
This is Ariya Kamasikwemeka, calling from Onitsha.
Okay. Do what is very favor.
That's what you are saying.
Okay. Hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Please walk away from where your radio set is, or you can put it off, please.
All right. Thank you. I'm out of the radio set.
Okay. So what did you say is your name?
My name is Emeka. I'm calling from Onitsha.
Yes. Go on, Mr. Emeka.
As well to what I wanted to talk about our police. Malami and his 18 billion and the 100 billion naira he paid from government coffers. So this is what normally happens to this country. Let's presume that this country has laws and implement their law. All these politicians will not continue to defrauding the those that are taken care of. Something like former governor of Kogi State, who sold 80 billion, and he's not working too. Now Malami and his son will be working free also. But see what they did to Ngige. Just they took him money, 40 million naira, 4 million. They arrested Ngige and put him into cell, detained him. So even the Kuleba Apo, not now Marebe Milite Mabia Marebo Yano Post. Only one on our bike, I did Kukua. And you put a block or radio station on the Uno fine. About what I'm saying is the truth. So I don't know why this country needs revolution. All these politicians get with Javanta. Kill all of them.
Okay, please, I think that is not allowable here, of course. It's not allowable here. I must be honest with you. Okay, keep on saying these things. Just like you try to contradict yourself, that there are things you are not allowed to say. And at the same time, you went to do the same thing. Okay? Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Frank.
Yes, good morning. Your name? 1 minute. Your name?
Good morning, Dr. Sandeki.
You're welcome.
Okay, go on.
Yes, it will be and article the Harvard Trust. Yes, it will be and article the Harvard Trust. Let me say one thing there. The eagerness to serve stems off from the point of the nationalism. Yes, eagerness to serve stems off from the point of the nationalism. That INEC to rule depends from the point of selfishness. Okay? I think we should step down for people. You know, some time ago, it was, highly speculated that the Labour Party, I think the Lagos chapter, was pressurizing people to declare your time. Declare your time now within 24 hours or something like that. And the people was clever with that. He's an Igbo man. Highly sensible. So he was not abiding his time. Okay? Maybe we are pressurizing him to declare his time so that he will just be relegated to an oblivion, political oblivion. Now he has, matched with the, distance with the ADC and Atiku. Who once, some time ago, said, I will support P2B, I will now support him. Now dancing a different tune. Let me tell one thing here. If P2B fails to clench the candidacy of any political party this time around, we must forget about it. I want to repeat myself. If P2B fails to clench the candidacy of any political party, be it ADC or any party in Nigeria, we Igbos, we must forget about it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining. So quickly, let's go to our Facebook page. A young girl is watching from Benue State. He says the Prime Minister of Women Affairs is reluctant to establish a powerful body to monitor child trafficking and abduction in our country. I think there's an NAPTIP in the country that looks into the issue of trafficking in persons. Master Bear SJ says P2B's calculation is accurate on the ground of zoning and tenure in office. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar should kindly step aside for Almighty Obi and the Kwankwaso tickets on the ADC platform. And he goes on to say, let P2B open the eyes of Nigerians on excessive corruption with a greediness in the system. Also, Francis Omaga Namani, watching from Agos in Enugu State, says, yes, Wike should remember that power is transient and nobody will remain in power forever. He should allow peace to reign in River State for goodness sake. Dr. Mrs. Molebra from Owerri says power belongs to the people, and this 2027, the people will decide who will be their president. Let not our heart be troubled. God will work out his purpose for our lives. Let them keep gathering in APC, but if their gathering is not of God and for our benefit, it will fail. If Nigerians really want this country to be out of the quagmire we have found ourselves in, P2B is the answer. He is like a light set on a mountain top to save Nigeria. We must get it right in 2027, as it will not be business as usual. Nigerians, it's now or never. Aldeli Aloysius says, it was surprising how Abubakar Malami, who is facing allegations of money laundering totaling 8.7 billion naira, was granted bail yesterday for 500 million naira each, meaning Abubakar's son and wife are to pay 1.5 billion. And my question is, what happens to the remaining billions, or have they been used as a compensation to Malami and families? This is someone who packed all our resources for personal use, getting bail for just 500 million. Okay, maybe if we have time, we'll try to explain what this bill means. Sunday Jonathan from Onitsha, okay, thank you for watching and for the acknowledgement or commendation. Gregory Tadeu says, he posted from Asaban. He says, unfortunate that INEC had to wait for Mr. P2B to leave Labour Party before they could tell Barrister Bure that Supreme Court judgment removed him from office. Since this is the case, how do they want us to believe they will announce the actual result in 2027 if their payment staff fails to win? He said God is watching. Sabasinap Igwe from Ugwabo Bosi says, looking at the reactions of the INEC as regards to Labour Party leadership structure just few days after Mr. P2B left the party, it's really unfortunate. Honestly, this is speaking volume of their partisan nature. My speaker, in all these unwholesome developments in our political space, is it enough to still believe in our electoral umpire with the notion that our vote is our right? And he's asking Quitwe Nigeria. Andrew Chine Merem for Enugu, thank you for watching. Ocheni Igbo Chendo from Board Bus Stop, thank you for also following us. John Ekum, thank you. And another person who has joined. on this live video. Okay, so Tony, let's see what we can address within this very short time. One is we announced development in River State where the State Assembly has initiated impeachment proceedings, and somebody is asking whether the state can go ahead to impeach him without the premature approval of the state chief judge. And then the Dati Ahmed, or rather the Dati Ahmed entrance into the race. What about if there's a possibility that he's a placeholder? He went to get the ticket in case his boss or his former boss fails to pick ticket in any party, he can come back to the Labour Party.
Let's begin with that of impeachment and possibly run back to placeholder of a thing by Dati Baba Ahmed. And somebody asked the question, the role of chief judge. The role of chief judge in impeachment is purely administrative. Purely administrative, and there's no way a governor can be impeached if we follow the provisions of section 188 diligently without the chief judge being involved. We have the chief judge of River State, Justice Simeon Chibuzo Amadi. He is the current chief judge of River State. I remember he was appointed in that role since 2021. So that's just that. Then we know very well that the River State House of Assembly, they have initiated the first step, which is to read the allegations. And then within 7 days, they will have to serve the impeachment notice on Governor Fubara. And within space of 3 months, they have to make a resolution. They have to make a resolution within themselves whether to go on to investigate this. And that is where Chief Judge comes in. So once they pass a resolution requiring that these allegations of gross misconduct be looked into, the Chief Judge, they will now mandate the Chief Judge to set up a panel of 7 persons. And these 7 persons must not belong to any political party of unquestionable character. And these 7 persons will look into these gross allegations and come up with a verdict. Remember, the Chief Judge does not investigate. The Chief Judge does not judge the governor. The Chief Judge does not decide guilty or innocent. His role is purely administrative. So those who he appointed, who would be the one that would do that? Remember, the House will debate this, and if they need to get this investigated, they must pass 2/3 of all the members. I think 26 of them have signed impeachment notice, which they will have to serve on the governor. So 7 persons, if the panel, the Chief Judge will set up, say that the governor, they have not found the governor wanting of all these allegations, the matter dies. If they said we have found the governor wanting, the House goes on. But remember one thing, the last time this happened, the Chief Judge, Simeon Chibuzo Amadi, did not set up the panel. And the Amatina Mehile wrote to DSS to have the Chief Judge investigated for corruption in a way to discredit him and possibly put him outside so that they can have their way. So that was the Sidero. So now the Chief Judge, we are going to look at Simeon Amadi, his role. And recall, he has at liberty to appoint the 7 persons. And if he can even appoint those that will say, we have not found anything on Fubara. And if the House goes on to impeach him, Fubara will go to court to install that impeachment because they are acting against what the panel have set up. So it could be a way to save Fubara. So, it could be a way. So the Chief Judge can indirectly save you. Remember, he does not judge, but he will be the one that will set up the 7 persons that will investigate it. And if he appoint those who are on the side of governor, they will come out and say he hasn't done anything. And if the House goes on to impeach him, even when the panel has come out to say that he hasn't done anything, the governor will go to court to frustrate that.
And guess what? This Chief Judge, if he's a man without character, this is time to make money.
But that's just that. But, they offered him that in the past, and he turned off all those things. And why he did not set up the panel? Because he said, which of the House was he actually dealing with? Because there were 2 factions of the House. So he said he cannot, until the court directs which one is authentic. That was why he did not set up the panel. But right now, Wike is trying to throw the last straw. You know why? The governors of FPC have assured Fubara of the ticket. But Wike wants to be in a hurry to get Fubara out of that very place so that he becomes nobody. He will not hold that authority of the governor. Recall what one of the APC stakeholders said yesterday, that by the virtue of office Fubara occupies, he is the leader of APC in that state.
Okay, so let's see what happens. And in my normal words, Okuko Beren and Ngigegu.
And then the issue of placeholder, there could be a sense in it, but it is yet to be seen. But that Baba Ahmed we've known and the character we've seen him put through over the time, that may not be the case, because we see him as somebody who likes talking direct and who likes taking ownership and responsibility. But the way things are going and the way he pitted with Abuja and so many things, it might not really be the case. Okay,
so we thank every one of you for enjoying the show, because that is where we are going to draw the curtain today.